The ideas expressed in the following presentations are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of ACI or its committees. ACI web sessions are recorded at ACI conventions or other concrete industry events and will be made available for viewing free of charge for 1 week. Thereafter, they will be archived on the ACI website or added to ACI's online CEU program, depending on their content.
It's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tom Pyle now, who's going to be our first speaker. And Tom has been with Caltrans for 30 years, where he's worked in many divisions, including design, construction and materials. And for 8 years he managed the department's cement and concrete laboratories, where he participated on numerous national committees for cement and concrete advancement. He's also worked on the Californian Environmental Protection Agency to support the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. And he's currently in charge of programming the pavement projects that Caltrans will build for the coming decade. So it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Tom Pyle. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate that very much. You know what the most exciting thing is that for all of us who've had a chance to go out and walk around the pool, I realized that I am with a group of friends that every one of us was so excited to look down and see there were no cracks in the concrete. You were looking at the exposed aggregate. I even sent a picture to my wife. I said, here's the pool. Notice that beautiful, beautiful concrete around it. But I'm sure other people are looking at other things. But we aren't we? This is wonderful. Here's what I'm going to talk about a few things. In terms of the future, in infrastructure, and what's going on with Caltrans. Is that, you know, in Caltrans and in California, you might not be aware of it, but our gas is going to go up by 12 cents pretty soon. And that's going to cost 12, 14 cents, whatever. It's going to cost us about another $10, $15 a month in gas. We got a lot going on. We are programming projects at Caltrans so fast you can't believe it. What I want to do is in this presentation, I'm going to share a few strategies, but I'm going to show you what our goals are in pavement. Caltrans, California, if you're not aware, we wish we were first, but we just moved from number 48 to 47 in terms of the worst pavement in California. We are at the bottom and we are working our way up. But we're right now programming projects like crazy to dig out of that hole. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple fast strategies. I'm going to talk a little bit about what 100-year pavement design, something we've been working on in the departments since I was in Concrete Branch for a few years ago. And I'm going to talk about some recycling and some other things that are going on. So hopefully for those of you all who are in the industry, you'll be able to see where we're going to be spending money. I want to show that to you. And I also want to show you some of the strategies, just a couple of them. There's a lot of new ones that are out there, but I wanted to show you some ones that I could just have some pictures of, and we're not going to go through all of the hoopla of formulas and equations. So California, for those of you who are not familiar with California, you know, one of the cool things about our state is, you know, we have rainforest all the way out to desert. We have such a differing climate zone from end to end, north to south, east to west. It's amazing. It's an amazing place to work and live. It's also extremely challenging in terms of our pavement requirements. So, you know, as I was mentioning, and I'm not going to read all of the slides, but some of them I might. But nevertheless, right now, our goal is to get to a what we would call an 80-10-10, or we're going to have 80% good pavement, 10% fair, and 10% poor. That is our goal. And then our goal in getting to that will leave us in a place in 10 years where 10% seems like a lot, or 5,000 miles seems like a lot, but when we get to that point, it's going to be little pieces of pavement that are spread around that are very hard to get to. And we're going to have corridors that are repaired. We're going to have major sections of the major highways that are fixed. And then we're going to be able to go in and fix small pieces as we need to. So SB1 is a bill. It's coming. Our gas taxes are going to go up soon. But we are going to be programming, in terms of Caltrans, another $17.9 billion worth of work. For those of you who are contractors, I'm going to give you a little bit of clue in terms of where that work's coming. So let me get into that. So the big goal. Many of our routes, let's just give you a flavor for California. So here's a route. Most of our routes that have trucks on them or in the urban areas are concrete. And when we break down those urban areas, it's that 70% of our urban areas are concrete. One of the interesting things to me about that concrete was, and that was originally designed, almost 75% of it was built in the 60s and early 70s. It was built with a 20-year design life. Most of it is still there. About 60% of it is still there. We have gotten out of those early designs more than twice the design life that we ever thought we would. Concrete pavement is holding up for us, unbelievable. And you know what? I'm going to tell you what one of the secrets to it was. If you ever look at concrete pavement in any other state, we did one thing, and it was because when we didn't have steel during various war efforts, we placed a lean concrete base underneath our pavements. It was like a 5-sack mix. And those mixes have held up famously for us in terms of being able to carry more loads than we ever would have expected. Most of our rural roads are asphalt in California. Our asphalt roads in those rural areas are predominantly asphalt. Only about 30% of them is concrete. I noticed something as I was going through and looking at what our spending is. This is my job, my role right now, is that we're looking at programming out for 10 years. But what do we have coming for the next 3 to 4 to 5 years? One of the interesting things is in terms of asphalt and concrete pavement is that when you do look in terms of how much they're spending, is that we're right now spending a tremendous amount of money. While most of our roads might be asphalt, as I was trying to show you, the amount of money that we're spending on concrete is significant. In fact, you can see if you look on this particular chart, in terms of the dollars that we're spending between asphalt and concrete, it's about 47% of it, or about half of it, is being spent on concrete. Now, I put this chart in for those of you who are in and you're interested in where do you as a company target, or what is Caltrans interested in, or where's our work coming? As we're looking at this point, I'm only taking this chart out to 2020, but you can see that most of our work that's coming is in terms of grinding and slab replacement, going out and fixing those. There's a lot of work coming there in the future. You can see that we are doing a lot of Portland cement concrete lane replacement. Significant. That is where most of our work is that we are removing lanes that were concrete and we're replacing them with concrete, and that is the major portion of our work. There's also some concrete overlays. You can see there's a little bit of that coming where we're just starting to play with a strategy that works across the Midwest of the United States, but we're really starting to focus on putting thin concrete overlays over asphalt roads. We've got 2 of those projects that are coming, and we're pretty excited about them. Caltrans, we are as conservative as you're going to find as an organization. We innovate, but sometimes it takes us 40 years to look at a strategy to make sure that it's really going to work, and I'll show you an example of that. But we are doing some concrete overlays. And then we're doing continuously reinforced concrete pavement. That's CRCP. That is the future of Caltrans concrete paving, is that we are getting life out of our CRCP, continuously reinforced concrete pavements. As we look at those around the country, as we look around at the ones that we've built and how they're performing, it is really going to be the future of Caltrans. And then a lot of slab replacements. What I don't show you on here is that on October 22nd, we're going to be programming another $3.7 billion worth of work on top of this work over the next coming 5 years. The amount of work that Caltrans has coming is phenomenal. So now I want to get into a few strategies, and I'm going to talk about 3 of them. One of them is this is not exactly a concrete, but it's a cement strategy for those of you who think about cement more than you think about concrete. This is called cold foam. It's a deep recycling strategy. This is where we go into an asphalt road, grind it up, we grind it down to the base, it's hot oil, water, a little bit of cement we put into it. And as we're grinding up these old roads that, it's been tough. It's over the years, literally Caltrans, we go in time after time after time, we grind it off, we replace it, we have this many needs, we have this much money, what are we going to do on that? And now we are looking to come in and recycle our roads. We're coming in and looking on those little asphalt roads, 1 lane in each direction, 2-lane highways. And Caltrans' goal is about 15,000 lane miles of these, what we call Class 3 roads. And our goal is to go in on those roads and grind them up, rebuild them, recycle them, and then leave another layer of asphalt on top of them. And on these, I'm going to show you a few pictures of this. Here's how it works. The grinder goes through. It's, you know what? Am I the only one who, you're cooking bacon, you're trying to teach your kids lessons or whatever, and you get a little water on your hands and you throw that into the pan that's frying the oil, just to have a little bit of fun and watch it splatter a little bit. That's what's happening in this recycling drum, is that cold water, hot oil is being atomized in there. A little bit of cement's being placed in at the same time. Here's the grinding wheel. In front of the whole operation, we place 5% cement in terms of the volume that we are working with, and this is what's coming out the back end. It's just a recycled layer that can then be worked through. We found that in terms of lessons learned, we've studied this. We did the first one of these. We've been studying it for probably about 15, 16 years now, and it is a strategy we are in fact going to be doing a lot of. I'll be happy to answer any questions about that, but I just wanted to share with you, if you're on the cement side, if you're on the paving side, if you want to see what's coming up new and you have some of these Class 3 roads, this is where Caltrans is really going to be focusing. Second one I wanted to share with you was a fast type of a turnaround where we have to get in and work, and we have to replace slabs. I mean, if we're in on the 10, if you're here in Southern California, you know the 10, you got 300,000 cars per day. You have to go in, we have very small construction windows. We have construction windows where we can close that lane off at 9 or 10